Hello everyone, my name is AAmador and today I wanted to show you just a quick overview of what my Schoology course looks like whenever a student opens it up. So we're just going to go on into my second period class, and whenever you open this course, the first thing that the students see is going to be my Google Meet link, because we still have a lot of kids doing virtual, so they need to know that that's how they access my virtual class. And then I also include the dates and the days that and the times that I'm available for tutoring in case they want to jump in to meet, or if they're face to face, they can just show up to my room and I can help them with anything. But that's the first thing they see, like that. It's a reminder that that's where they go, or that's where they can get help at any time. As far as content goes, the very first thing that's on my list is the classroom information sheet, or the syllabus, which is going to explain everything about what the class is going to cover, their expectations, their grading policy, and everything of that nature. So that's always there for them to see at the very beginning. And then it follows by a folder that I have here for them that has helpful websites. They don't use them as much now because every time I use one of the websites, I directly link it within the assignment. For example, Quizlet, Conjuguemos, and anything like that. But if they want to use accents, sometimes they do use this one here. That's just for them to have as reference. The most important folder, I think, or the most important ones are the next ones that follow. For example, my notes and resource folder. I'm very peculiar about this one. I always drill them, well, I have since the beginning of the school year, that this is where they're going to find everything that they need in the class in order to succeed. Because everything that we cover, I put on here. So if they're absent or if they didn't understand the lesson, they could always go back in here and find either the PowerPoint, the video that explains it, or just snapshots of important information. For example, I have a folder here just with the textbook itself. They have the digital version, which would allow them to click on it, listen to the audios, and so on. They have the PDF version, and they also have the PDF version broken into chapters in case they only want to download the specific chapter that they are on. And then after the textbook, I have a folder with vocabulary. Now, for this particular folder, I tend to throw all the vocabulary list on here ahead, like that. Whenever we get to that particular chapter, I just make it available to them. I'll publish it. But what I like to do is that whenever they open this folder, I have the most current list pop up and appear to them, like that. They don't have to go in digging of what they got to use for that particular chapter. So, for example, we just finished completing chapter 1A, and that's the list that we were working on. So that's the first thing that they see. And then if they scroll down, obviously they will see the link for that particular list here at the bottom with the list that we already covered. So we already used the preliminary one. I used the 90 one with them, and then the one that we're on now. So starting on Wednesday, well, we test on Wednesday. So starting on Thursday, I will make this one available to them. I will just publish it, and it will look just like this top one does, instead of having this one there. Like that, whenever they log on, they'll have access to it. But now they know that every time they need a list, that's the folder that they go to. And then this folder here, we don't use it as much now as we used to at the very beginning. This is just a glossary of the vocabulary that's in the book. It has the English to Spanish and the Spanish to English, along with just extended vocabulary that maybe you want to use for your pre-AP kids or the advanced levels. But I used it in the previous year, so I just copied it from my previous course. Now, here's the most important content as far as my notes and resources go. Everything I cover gets put into a folder, and it lets them know what's inside this folder. So, for example, for the first 6 weeks, this is what we're supposed to have covered according to the YAG that was provided to us. So, whenever the kids want to learn something that has to do with that specific topic, they could always open the folder and find whatever it is they're looking for. For example, let's say that they wanted more help with definite and indefinite articles. So they know that that folder there is going to contain what they need. If you notice here, there's a video that explains it. There's the PowerPoint that I created for them that explains it. And then there's pictures that have snapshots of the most important information that they need to know. So it shows them what definite articles are and how they are used. If they wanted to learn something about adjectives, same thing. I always include the videos that go with it. So how to use adjectives, adjective agreement, if they're singular, plural, masculine, feminine, and so on. And then I include the snapshots of the important information that they need in case they don't want to watch the whole video. I'm not going to go through every single folder, but every single one that I have here follows the same format. I have a video that goes with the lesson. I have my PowerPoint that I use to teach the lesson. And then I have pictures or snapshots of the important things that they need for that particular lesson. Okay, so every time I cover that, I have it here available for them, and they know that they could go here at any time and find that particular information. Because not only do I include this in their assignments, it's always going to be in their notes and resource folder. And I have one for every 6 weeks. It includes what I cover for the 6 weeks, and then when they open it, they find the stuff that they need. So it's very easy and organized for them. They just need to know that from the very beginning, because if not, they won't know where to go. So as long as you're telling them where to go and where to find their things, they will be grateful for it because it's very easy to find. My next folder, it's my warm-up folder. This is how I take attendance and how I get them going at the beginning of class every day. So they know, they don't even ask anymore. They know that as soon as they log on, they go into my Meet, they open Schoology, and they log on, they go into their monthly folder. In this case, we already did August, September, we're in October. So they open the folder and then they have their daily warm up, and each warm up has a date. So that's how I take attendance. As far as, let's say the student didn't log on to my Meet, but he completed the warm up, and then I could go back in there and change the attendance for that particular day. Along with the warm up, we also have our daily assignments, which is this next folder. Here is where I assign everything that we do in class. And if you notice, it's broken down by 6 weeks. And then within each 6 weeks, we have weekly folders. So week 1, week 2, 3, 4, and so on. And within the folders, every time I have the lesson, I'm sorry, you're not going to have a lesson every single day. So some days are going to look different than others. For example, this day here is just a link to como eres, which I think was a conjuguemos in this case, and it took them to adjectives, and they had to do a conjuguemos activity with adjectives. But then on the 25th, we had our adjective lesson. So on this one, I have the video that I used for my lesson. I didn't include the PowerPoint, but they know that that PowerPoint was in my notes and resource folders. I don't pull everything from there. They know that it's there at any time they need it. This is just the basic things that they need to complete their assignment. It has the pictures, and then it has the assignment that they need to complete for that day. And it just goes on for every single day. For the next day, well, not the next day, but for the 28th, we also had the lesson. So they have a video that they can watch in case they didn't understand my presentation or my PowerPoint, and they can follow this video. And then it has the snapshots of the most important points of the video, and then they have the assignment that they got to submit. So not only do I include the resources in my notes and resource folders, because they're there for any time, but whenever they're completing their assignment for a particular day within the week, they have it available to them for that day. So once again, my definite articles, we had a lesson, so they can watch the video in case they didn't understand my lesson or they didn't understand the PowerPoint that I used. And then they have the snapshot, and then they have their assignment to complete. And it just goes on for every day. One thing I wanted to point out is that I don't have my Schoology set up like they do on the notes and like they do on the district resources. Mine's are not day by day as far as the days they have on there, like day 1, day 2, day 3, and so on. Because when I teach my lessons, they don't go exactly how they are in the resources. You need to remember that those are just there to guide us and to provide us the information that we need to cover. We're just going to pull from there whenever we create our courses and whenever we create our lessons. I do have that in the course, it's just not visible to them, which is down here. But whenever I use it, I just pull the things from there. For example, those videos that you saw on my resources and the videos that you saw on my assignments, they were pulled from here. So you only pull what you need, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to copy the whole thing and make it available to them. Keep that in mind. My last folder that I wanted to show you was just my assessment folder. This one doesn't have much in there. It's just the test that we actually have. So I always give them a 3 weeks test and then the CBA or first 6 weeks assessment because we don't have CBAs at the moment. So we're only taking 2 tests so far. The first one for the first 6 weeks, and then the test that we just took this Friday, which was over Chapter 1A. But that was just a quick overview of how my class looks. It's not anything fancy. It's just organized and simple, I think, to the point. They have the folders that they need to go to. They know which ones to go to, and they know what they need to complete. I just wanted to show you that just because everything in our resources is there by days doesn't mean that you have to use it that way. And it doesn't mean that you have to assign every single day that they have on there to them. You can create it however you want. Just make sure you create in your weekly folders as well, or you have an actual lesson for each day that includes the resources that they need. So I hope this was helpful. And if you have any questions, you could always contact me, and I will be more than happy to help you. Have a good one, guys.